Alright, so last Game Informer I got was of Skull and Bones, and this month is of a game I am slightly more excited about, God of War Ragnarok. And that would be pretty awesome if that was the main cover for the game when it released. And so, yeah, I'm doing my preview of God of War Ragnarok, or God of War 5? Technically 5? Or is it actually 7 if you count the other prequel games? I need to stop talking and get on with it.
Tyr!
Are you coming with us?
You'll get your answer soon enough.
Okay, so obviously one of the things I actually got really curious about was the fact that this game is the conclusion of the Norse saga, which I thought was kind of interesting, seeing how the original Greek saga had 3 games, more if you count the prequels, and I found it really interesting that they were moving away from a trilogy aspect simply because it takes them like 5 years to make one game, and they were saying that yeah, we didn't want to make players wait 15 years to see this entire story unfold, so we decided to condense it down to 2 games. Now this tells me a couple things. One, that this sequel is going to be insanely huge in terms of just content and scope, and just, I mean, they're going to basically do the second and third story in this one. And so, I mean, part of me is, after hearing that aspect, thinking, so they haven't showed us everything yet, because I'm hearing rumors that you're going to be able to go all 9 realms, and all those are going to essentially be their own individual open worlds. And I'm thinking we have not seen everything there is to see with this story. If they're going to conclude everything, that means you're going to see cameos from, like characters like Odin and other characters in the Norse mythology. And we've seen none of that in the trailer. So I'm getting the impression that we've actually only seen like a fraction of what you will actually get when this game comes out in November. And I'm also curious if they're going to have a introduction from someone visiting from a faraway land, i.e. leading into the new mythos that they're going to have, because they were talking about having this set in Egypt for a while before settling on this, and then they also have a Chinese culture, Japanese culture, Indian culture, and so there's all of these like religious cultures that they can go to after this. And they have been talking about they do want to go to another religious culture after the Norse mythology culture with God of War Ragnarok. And so I think it'd be interesting if they did have a guest cameo, like maybe someone from Egypt, like visiting the lands of Norway, something like that. And so, I'm thinking that, I think that'd be an interesting thing to throw in there. Combat looks amazing as usual. I was really skeptical about Thor when they showed that concept art of Fat Thor. It's like, what is this? Is this going to be like a joke? Like, and then the story trailer came out and like, holy shit. That fight looks like it's going to be really awesome to participate in, unless they make him a really cheap boss. But I didn't feel like there were any really cheap bosses in the previous game, so I don't have too much concern there. I would like to know kind of how long they think the story's going to take. Obviously, there'll be a new game plus mode, there'll be new items and whatnot to try and collect in a second playthrough, because the first game kind of had that. But I'm curious how long they plan on the story to go, and is the story going to do like drastic time jumps? Because, I mean, you're dealing with Atreus, who Spoiler alert for God of War 2018. If you haven't played that, jump to this time right here. But I'm wondering if they're going to do time jumps because they revealed that Atreus is Loki. And so how does that work? Is there going to be like a period of time where Kratos is not with Loki and Loki is, raised next to Thor? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how they handle that. I'm thinking I wouldn't be surprised if they do sporadic time jumps having Atreus age into a full-grown Loki, because it'd be kind of weird if they completely concluded the Norse mythology and Loki was still a little kid. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do eventually when they get to that point. Also, we hear they're doing some new things with weapons, like apparently the shield's going to have a couple of variations with it, and like one is you can only get hit so many times before it starts releasing its potency, stuff like that. So that'll be interesting. I'm curious if they're going to have like a new main weapon introduced, like Shadow introduced in the game, because like the main weapon of the first games was the Chaos Blades, and then this new game was the Leviathan Axe. And so I'm curious if they're going to introduce a new kind of weapon like that, or if they're just going to kind of stick with the standard ones and have just a couple of like supplementary things added in. So it'll be kind of interesting to see if they do that. The one thing I really do not want to see is, honestly, I think it would be the end of the series. And not like the series would be terrible after this, but like this honestly would be the best point to end the series. If they kill off Kratos, it's like, why bother making another one after this? So, like, Kratos, his story arc, I feel, is the type of story arc that should have a good conclusion simply because of how much he matured in the last game. I mean, earlier games, it was just rage, selfish, I'm going to do what I want. And in the last game, like, Kratos grew the fuck up. I mean, he really, really matured. And honestly, it was the first time I felt Kratos was actually relatable and likable was in the last game. And so, with all that development, it'd be nice to see him kind of have a good send-off instead of the type of send-off you've seen other legacy characters get in their sequel games. But I digress. So, overall, I am excited about this game. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm going to get at launch simply because I have the entire rest of the series that I need to review, and so it'd be kind of nice to review those before that game. And I learned from my mistake. I thought I could review all the Halo games before Halo Infinite came out. Got Halo Infinite when it came out, and I still haven't been able to get to that review because I've been trying to get through all that stuff. And so I'm currently working on 5 right now, and so I do eventually want to get this, but it will be a while before I do. However, it is one of the games coming out at the rest of this year I do want to get. And I think this does look really good, and so I'm hoping for the best with this. Anyway, that's been my thoughts on the upcoming God of War Ragnarok. What do you guys think? What are you guys most excited about? What would you like to see in the future? What kind of mythology would you like to see the series go to next if they do continue the series? Throw down the comments down below, and also just throw down a hi down in the comments below, because YouTube for some reason is throttling my likes and views of other people actually viewing my content. I don't know why, but I've literally had people told me they give me likes on a video and they do not show up. So any help you guys can give will be greatly appreciated. Till next time, my name is Christopher Kahn with 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all.